Welcome to Pitch in the Zone, the weekly gathering where one presenter gets to present a 3-minute pitch and then gets help by a number of people. Participants on the call. We have professional coaches like Nathan Gold, Scotty Spursum, and also Rick Pollack. We have entrepreneurs and C-level executives like Marco Vezzale and Michael Marchak, who is also the father of the dinner pitch, of the dinner party pitch. And then we have a couple of previous participants who do see the value behind observing and providing feedback to another presenter. Our presenter today is going to be Rowe. He is the CEO of Hideouts, a social media platform, a social network that promises to be a safe space. Rob, welcome to Pitch in the Zone. And if I may ask anybody who's not speaking right now to mute yourself, that will minimize the interference a little bit. All right, so Rob, before we start, let me ask you, what is the usual audience for your pitch?
The pitch I'm going to be doing today is specifically designed for, we are applying to tech startup accelerators. We're applying to Y Combinator, Techstars, a few others. Because normally the pitch deck is not included in the application, but I always send an email to the managing director when we send it in, and I attach a link to the pitch deck, hoping that I get a chance to get on a 10-minute call and present it. So that's what this is today.
Excellent. Thank you, Rob. And Marco will also run a timer that counts down from 3 minutes. The timer will start when you are ready, Rob. So please,
okay.
If you want to share your screen, and then the floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Okay, and I think I'm gonna, because I've been having trouble with my Wi-Fi, I'm gonna go ahead and take my video off so you won't see my face, but you'll see the pitch deck and then I'll come back on. Is that okay? Yeah, I just don't want to have it all glitchy. Okay, share screen. Okay, is everybody okay? They can see it?
Beautiful, yes.
Yes, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start my timer too. So I'm going to count myself down. 3, 2, 1, go. Hi, I'm Rob. I hold a PhD in financial economics, and this is my 7th startup called Hideouts. We're building a social media app helping users find their smile on difficult days. Hold on, we already skipped one. Oh, shoot. We got out of line here. Can we start over? I don't know what happened. Can we just start over? My slides got
Yeah, please start over. Start over, no problem.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, thank you. We're doing a do-over. Okay, we're starting now. Hi, I'm Rob. I hold a PhD in financial economics. This is my 7th startup. It's called Hideouts. We're building a social media app helping users find their smile, especially on difficult days. Why? Because anxiety and depression are growing exponentially worldwide, especially for teen girls. Here's teen boys down here. Here's teen girls. The sharp increase is at the launch of Facebook and iPhone. Go figure, right? This all started at my 6th startup, which was a record label where we worked exclusively with disadvantaged teens growing up in group home foster care, homeless shelters, troubled teens. We were working with Georgia Tech trying to build a music app for their music, and they all decided, no, we need to fix social media. So we actually spent a year talking to teens worldwide under the direction of Georgia Tech, and we found out that they wanted more positivity and safety on social media. This should lead to an app with higher engagement and longer retention. We do have some early market validation. We did a TikTok post to 175,000 followers. We got 10 times normal engagement, 400 likes in 4 days, 1,000 all positive comments. Instagram has images, Snapchat has stories, Hideouts has smiles, by letting users' authentic self breathe. We do this by replacing many shallow, often toxic user connections with fewer, deeper ones in a safe, private, place, thereby optimizing user happiness. Execution, we do all the coding in-house. We were in the YC build sprint over the summer, launched an MVP, 1,500 on the wait list. Now we're in private beta. We don't have time for the 60-second product demo, so I will simply summarize for you. And the key differentiators, Hideouts has specifically designed functionality to do one thing: help users find their smile. Go-to-market strategy, we have a very low CAC. We have 40 TikTok influencers, total follower base 50 million. They are promoting us pro bono. Why? Because they like what we're trying to do with the app. Our team is captivated producers in New York City national media. They say they'll cover us when we launch. And Hideouts user experience is maximized when you invite your friends, thereby driving word of mouth rapid growth. We have a massive potential market. 18, 24 months out, established teen girl beachhead in the US of 15 million daily active users, move that to 200 million worldwide, pushing a market cap of 5 to 7 billion. We do have revenue at launch between stickers and live stream commercials. At 30 months, we activate Snapchat-like advertising. 5 years out, at just 25% of the size of Snapchat, we have 100 million annual revenue. If we become a major player, it's $1 billion a year. And here's the team I was talking about, living the problem daily. But here is my co-founder, Steve Linehan, who is the ex-treasurer of Capital One and has raised 350 million in the last 12 months for a fintech he's working with. Here is our early funding. Sue is on the call. She is the one who put in the $50,000 angel round. So thank you for your time. And in closing, we simply ask for an interview. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Rob. Really, really well done. Can you please? Yep, thank you. Really, really well done. As you promised, it was very fast paced. It was a lot of information, but your experience pitching really, really comes through. Your energy was unbelievable, really enjoyable. So the first thing that comes to my mind is the dinner party pitch that Michael created a few weeks ago. So I want to start with Michael, because I'm sure that moment from a couple of weeks ago came to your mind as well. Michael, please take it from here.
Yeah, I did. A good pitch. I felt, listening to it, that I was feeling anxious listening to you based on the energy you're giving. I felt like you're rushing through things and I needed to be at the same energy level. Not a bad thing in terms of being high energy, but I felt anxious while you were doing it because I know you were trying to get through something very quickly. When what Claudia was talking about is this whole concept of dinner party pitch. And I understand when you're providing information, you want to do a discussion with somebody, but you need to get them the information to baseline the discussion to start with. And the whole concept of dinner party pitches is, if someone asks you what you're doing, you at a dinner party, you would be talking with them in a more conversational way. You may not have slides. So some of the things that you've talked about, I think are great. In fact, you probably didn't need slides to show some of the activity you're doing. Maybe to reinforce the graphs was helpful in some way in terms of grounding it. So the slides in general were, minimal, which is awesome. But you probably didn't even need them, because the discussion you're having about this is, hey, everybody knows where the anxiety comes from, and we probably, especially in this space, you probably don't even need to go into that. There are anxious users out there. A lot of these teens are having these issues, et cetera. We've created this safe space for them, a different social media platform type of thing, and then go into that discussion about why it's different and how it's working. The credentializing at the beginning there is, hey, this is my 7th time around doing this stuff. I know what I'm doing. I've got a PhD. I've got the backers that know what they're doing as well. That was great for credentialing. And moving forward, showing your burn rate is also a great thing for folks from an investor side, understanding that. But I really, you mentioned it early on, you said you talk fast, and that's just who you are. I get it. But in these kind of situations where you're trying to not only educate someone, but also kind of have them feel comfortable about who you are, that energy is great in a social setting and whatever, but in this kind of situation, make them feel comfortable with who you are. And because you have a lot of, you made a lot of great points, and the information in there was right on spot. I think you did great in terms of why you're doing it. You closed properly with an ask, and this is what we're looking for right now. I just felt like it was a blast, but good information. Just from a personality perspective, maybe tone it down a few notches to give that ease of conversation.
Okay.
Very good, Joe.
Cool.
Good.
Thank you. All right.
Great feedback as always, Michael. Thank you. Next up, Scotty. Scotty, what have you noticed and how can you help Rob improve this pitch?
Good morning. I echo a lot of what Michael said. I'm actually really glad that you started over because the first words out of your mouth were so loud and I felt like you were screaming at me. So I physically, I wanted to back up. So you toned down the intensity of your voice on the second time, which was really good.
Okay.
To add to something that Michael was talking about, and that you have to really give your listeners more time to hear you. It's a tremendous, tremendous gift to slow your speech down. And I'll tell you why. There are two very specific reasons. People have to actually hear the words that you say clearly. They also need time to comprehend the data. And there was so much data coming at me, I felt like it was a fire hose. And to try to look at your slides and listen to what you were saying was almost impossible. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I believe that when people speak so quickly and they're trying to push so much out, it sounds like you are not confident about what you're talking about. So there's a body language element to what you're doing as well. We couldn't see you, but I would imagine you were like, leaning forward like this. So you really need to settle yourself, and they're wonderful breathing techniques we could talk about offline to just really calm yourself down, to slow it down. When you got in, so think on that, and you already know it, so you're like halfway there. You recognize it already, so now you just need to marshal it, to change that habit, really.
Okay, and actually, right before I started, I did deep breathing exercises, but I guess I need to do more.
You'll find some more. Maybe you need a power pose, for
yeah. Okay.
I also wanted to add that when you talked about, again, great to know your credentials, which is terrific, and that you've got, your team. But backing up, I think you were at about 220 when you were talking about how you came up with this idea from your last startup. And the transition to current startup was really difficult. I was trying to get I was still trying to figure out what your other startup was, and then getting into the new one. So I think you could do with a little bit better transitioning there. And also, great to know about your other, I'm not sure if it was the co-founder, but the fellow who was the treasurer of Capital One.
Yeah.
Which is really good to know. I think you might be able to finesse a little bit more about your team at the end, or at least with the management side of it. Yeah. And one other thing, I mean, part of me has a bias against all social media for teens. So I don't know how you might address that, or whether it would be pertinent in this period of time. So, but really great. And I would really pound in the fact that it was when Facebook came out and the iPhone came out that the anxiety went up for teens. I wouldn't just gloss it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah. But it was great, very well needed. So
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Scotty. And moving right along, Marco from the beach in Thailand, what have you noticed? How can you help Rob?
Yes, thank you. I'll just focus on the small things that can be improved. Starting with having been a book publisher, I really don't like the 3 dots that you use like a couple of times in the titles and the slides.
Oh, gotcha.
And I don't like when, I'm not the only one, but when people announce what they're going to do. So just don't say, I'm going to the market strategy now, I'm going to conclude, just do it. Don't say what they're doing, just do it. But to me, the elephant in the room is that, and maybe it's my problem, I didn't understand that, but you said you kind of remove the bad connections, you provide the safe ones. How? Is AI based or human based? Because we do know AI is still not so advanced, and Facebook do employ tens of thousands of people moderating posts and everything, and they still cannot do it. You didn't mention how you solve the problem in reality. If it's a secret, it's a trademark, a patent, fine, but just tell me briefly what you do it, how you do it.
Oh, okay, yeah, and it's actually in the product demo, but yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we took that out simply because of time
Right, it's
purposes,
time, yeah.
right? But valuable feedback nevertheless from Marco, because you will be in some kind of situations where you won't even have the slides, and you still
Right,
should be able to communicate those main issues, like how are you going to be different? How are you going to do it?
right.
Right along, Nathan. Nathan, you've been nodding along with all the different feedback so far. Please, what can
Yes.
you add?
Well, I'm agreeing with everybody. That's why I'm nodding. Okay, so I have two things to share with you. One is you need two decks. You need the deck that you send to a Y Combinator with all the details and the words and the phrases, and then a copy of that. Remove most of the words and phrases, enlarge your pictures, and just speak to those. That's what I would do
Oh,
here. Yeah, that way you don't have to have that consternation of, well, which deck do I use to present? You always use the performance deck when you're doing things like this.
okay.
And the other deck is a
I
handout.
get you.
And then the second thing I want to point out is pausing. Uh, Everybody has already mentioned to you how fast, how quick, and whatnot. But what I just want you to concentrate on is without pausing, you really give us no time at all to Scotty's point. It's not just
Right,
hearing the words, but to process them at least nanoseconds. So at least
right.
pause briefly in between slides if you can, or especially at those
Okay,
moments where
right, I get,
you want us to process what you've just said. You know, in acting, there are
okay,
three kinds of pauses. There's the logical pause where you're switching slides or getting people to look at something. You have the
right,
physiological pause, which is you want to get a drink of water or find your clicker. And then the real magic one is the one that you didn't use at all, which most people forget about, which is the psychological pause. And you know what a
okay.
psychological pause is? I just
I'm
did it.
assuming,
I just did it.
oh,
I just stopped
yeah,
talking, let you process what's just come out of my mouth so you can
right,
reflect. So the pausing. If you just add pausing, cut 30% of your talk out and put pauses in, it'll be 1,000% better.
huh, okay,
Couldn't
wow,
agree
all
more.
right.
Couldn't agree more, Nathan. Thank you. Thank you for this feedback. Moving along, Rick Pollack, what have you noticed and how can Rob improve this pitch?
Well, I'm going to agree with just about all the comments that came before, but a couple of things, Rob, that I think might be able to help you out. I did like, especially where you said, at the beginning, if you're talking to a Y Combinator, it's your seventh startup. If you're talking to the investors, a sixth startup is you're being familiar with the market and teenagers. I
Right,
think was the credentials. You showed a little graph that showed, boys and girls, but it was a kind of a cluttered graph. I think you could just clean up that slide
okay,
and maybe even get more of a story based since it seems to be more teenage girls. Maybe something talking about here's a teenage girl here and she's on Facebook, here are all these problems, but going on
right,
to this platform where it's a safer space. I think
right,
that is, more of a narrative in there. But and I agree with the comments. Marco was saying, how does it work? I couldn't really tell, and I know that was from 3 minutes, and with the video, that was probably
right,
where it was. But how is
right,
this a safer space than that? And I think Scotty's comment about social media in general. I think if you
right,
set up a safe social media platform, why aren't the teenage girls, or what's going to prevent the teenage girls from showing off and harassing each other even in something that's safe? So how is it going to
right,
make them smile on the bad day? And I think that's you've got to make sure that really comes across stronger. So those are my
okay,
comments.
okay,
Excellent.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rick. And moving right along, Chris Dundon, you've been in this seat before and you've attended so many of these meetings. What feedback do you have for Rob?
Well, thank you, Claudio. In terms of the pitch, there's not much more that I have to say. Although I do have a couple of questions for Robert.
Sure,
You're a little different than most of the folks that we get in here, in that you seem to be a little older, and I'm not knocking it. I'm giving you a lot of credit for crushing the glass ceiling of VC money. You know, the
Right.
classic term is, I won't give money to anybody over 40 years old, and
Exactly.
you look like you're under 40. You don't need to tell me how old you are, but I'm just trying to say, you know, this is a great thing in my opinion, because I think that's quite unfair, that rule of thumb.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's like, you know, and I didn't even come up with the idea. It was Teen Girls out of the record label that came up. And then so we built the team with the teens. So yeah, my co-founder and I manage it. And then we've brought in co-founders that are in their teens. But yeah, I am significantly older.
Right, right. I had a
So yeah, we'll see how it goes with the VCs.
I had a look at your website and the entire team there, and I was actually floored by, you know, how many teenagers that you're using, and that is really a platform built by the target audience. Absolutely. All right, moving along, we have a few new faces here. We also have Samia and Rita. Rita, let me hop over to you quickly. What have you noticed? Is there anything that you can add that we haven't covered yet?
Hello, everyone. But today, I think my few experience on pitching have been covered for all the comments that I heard, at least the things that I thought they were more important. But anyway, thank you, Claudio, for once more having the opportunity to be here with you all. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, and you're always very welcome to join each of these sessions. Moving on, Ron, you will be pitching, I believe, next week. So this is your first time at Pitch in the Zone, but you have a lot of experience in the speaker circle as well. What have you noticed? What kind of feedback can you provide to Rob?
Look, first off, I'm going to be the victim, I think, in next week, something like that. Okay, so you've all got to be gentle on me. And please note my age. Okay, age is not a barrier. Okay, let me just point that one out. All right. But look, I know how difficult it is to do these 3-minute presentations. My comments are really the same as everybody else's. Main one is no pausing. It was a lot of information with very little feedback. Your pause for thought. That's my main comment. Yeah, but other than that, keep on rocking. You're good for another 20 years. Let me tell you now. Okay.
At least.
Awesome. Thank you, Ron, and I look forward to seeing you next week and seeing your pitch. Okay. Moving on, Dave Alberti, what have you noticed? Anything that you can provide in addition to what we've already covered?
Yeah, great pitch, man. I like the balloons. That was pretty cool representation. A little animation in the right place, but not too much. Very cool. Yeah, just a couple of things like Marco mentioned, you know, maybe since you'll have potentially 2 decks, like Nathan mentioned, the one where you have could have a link to your demo that they click. Of course, you maybe already have that, but that could be part of your ask. Since you don't have time to show it, save time there. Just
that's a good
don't
idea.
even mention that. That was rough over that part. You had kind of a rough patch there. Just eliminate that and have that as part of your ask. And then the other one was with the psych pause kind of idea. You read a couple of your slides, and instead you could have used a psych pause and let them read them.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. Very cool.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, because I did that on the very last one with the investor, right? I didn't say anything. I just said Sue's on the call. She put in the 50. Okay, no, okay. Yeah, because there is a link on that demo page, but I went so fast you didn't even see it. So I will definitely move that down into the ask. That's great. Okay.
Excellent. I love it when these ideas are coming out here and really practical things, actionable feedback. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Dave. Moving on, Samia, you've been in this seat before, and from the way that I understand it, you have recommended Rob to our group here. So what is your feedback to Rob? It's probably not the first time you've seen this type of pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in a group with Rob called Enricher. And so I've seen Rob pitch before. And so, of course, we had a little bit more time and, so for Rob, definitely the same thing that, the others said as far as slowing down, I got the same feedback. So, that's not surprising. I loved your teen advisor slide. It really showed, who was really behind building this app that's, for them, by them. So I really love that piece. And then kind of commenting on something that Scotty mentioned, I hate social media for teens. I have a 13-year-old and she, we've taken that phone multiple times and every time she seems to find her way back to TikTok. So, it's, I think Rob maybe adding in, just like Scotty mentioned, some comments about, what moms say, but as much, back in the day, it was me wanting a beeper. And, I understood what my mom, what her frustration was with me and trying to get a beeper. And so it's kind of the same thing with my 13-year-old in this TikTok. So, if you can't beat them, join them, but, just teach them how to safely use it. So I think you have a great product, but, mentioning those mom comments would be great.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Samia. And we have a few new faces here. I see Sid. Sid, have you noticed anything? If so, please unmute yourself and provide any feedback you can to Rob.
Oh, hi everyone. I work with Rob and Samia, so I know a little bit more. So my only comment is talk a little bit more about how the user experience, show, don't tell. So a quick, instead of the 1-minute product demo, maybe you can talk about for 15 seconds of what is the user experience going to be like. So they got a light bulb and
Gotcha.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Sid. Anybody else on the call? We are running almost to the end of the meeting. So if you are new to our session here and you would like to provide some feedback to Rob, please unmute yourself and simply take over the floor. All right. So with that, I would like to thank, number one, our presenter for the day, Rob. Today, you did a fabulous job. And my offer to you is this. Please take this feedback from today, incorporate it, and then come back here and show us how you have improved it. And to even sweeten it up a little bit, you have my contact information. Book another call with me, and we'll make sure that your next time here at Pitch in the Zone will be one of your best pitches ever. So
okay, cool. I'll definitely take you up on this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Take me up on that. I love your energy that you bring to the table. Absolutely great. And it will be a real pleasure tightening up that pitch a little bit and getting it into yet another great shape. I also want to thank everybody on the call today, as every week. Thank you for spending your time, for providing valuable feedback to our presenter, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care, have fun, bye-bye.
All right, thanks, everybody.